Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Andrew, and in this video I have Lenovo IdeaPad 100. But this laptop has a few small problems. The most noticeable are the cracks on the case. To one side of the palm rest is a smaller one, the CD ROM is falling apart, and to the other side the case is broken, a little bit more. I also noticed some cracks on the lid, but these are just tiny. In general, this laptop is still working. But after some time when it's turned on, starts to freeze, while the temperatures are still fine. The disk is dead, and I can hear that. And there is some other problem that I found it later. Well, let's start and try to fix this machine. And first, I will start with disassembly and checking the components. Disassembly of this laptop is not really complicated. And the only problem while disassembly is the case. The case plastics are not as quality as many people imagine, and there is a high chance of damaging the case or breaking some of the plastic clamps and tooths that are connecting the case. Also, the keyboard is a little bit sensitive to remove. It's easy to bend the keyboard, so working with something like this needs to be done with more precaution and care. Also, some of these models may have screws that are hard to spot. So before doing anything, I always double check the case. From the inside of the laptop, there are not many parts as well. I mean the motherboard with the heatsink and the cooling fan, disk and the disk electronics, CMOS battery, and a few cables from the Wi-Fi, the speakers and the display. One of the only things that I don't like with these models is there is a single RAM slot on the motherboard. So upgrading the RAM is with replacing the existing one with a better one. The battery on this laptop look like easy removable, but actually from the inside the battery is connected to the cable to the motherboard, and the battery has two screws from the inside. The bezel is the hardest to remove. The plastic is good, but it's very thin, and here I had to work very carefully to not break some of the plastic clamps. Otherwise, if I do break some of these, later I will need to use a two-sided tape. Also, the display is very thin and I should be very careful here as well. But the display on this laptop is not bad at all. It's bright and with a nice and clean colors. After I finish with this assembly, I move to cleaning and checking the electronics. And here I start with the motherboard first. From the motherboard, I remove the heatsink with a cooling fan. Now, I start with removing the dry thermal paste from the CPU and the GPU. Cleaning the thermal paste from the GPU needs to be done very carefully, because on the GPU chip are very tiny components, and these tiny components are covered with a thermal paste and not always visible. So using something sharp here is not recommended. And to clean the thermal paste I used plastic spudger stick, cotton buds, 96% isopropyl alcohol, and brushes. Brushes are the best way to remove the thermal paste from all around and make the GPU or the CPU fully clean. After I clean the thermal paste, I place the motherboard on a clean and soft fabric. Actually, this is a cleaning cloth. And I wash the whole motherboard using isopropyl alcohol. The motherboard is not too dirty, but I noticed some sticky dirt over the motherboard, so the best is to clean everything here. Also, I used a hair dryer to speed up the drying process. Isopropyl alcohol evaporates very fast, but this is more about drying the alcohol which is under some components, like under the GPU or the CPU. After cleaning, the motherboard looks fresh and like a new one. But now I move to clean the cooling fan and the heatsink. The cooling may look clean, but is not really. The heatsink was half full with dust. I mean, it's like a carpet. And the dust is from the inside as well. I mean, around the blades. The cooling fan cannot be opened. The metal part is stick to the plastic. So I wash the whole thing using isopropyl alcohol and brushes. And as final, I dry the cooling using hair dryer. After the both are clean, I apply a fresh thermal paste. And I mount the cooling to the motherboard. And with this, the motherboard is ready. Now I move to clean and check the other smaller electronics and the other components. I mean the speakers, the Wi-Fi, and the other cables and connectors. It's always good to pay attention to any single detail, in case something is damaged or needs to be replaced. Cleaning the laptop keyboard is going a little bit differently. The keyboard has a lot of holes from the bottom side, which in this case is pretty good. So using a vacuum cleaner, I can remove most of the dust and dirt from below the keys. To clean the front side, I used a soft fabric and a vacuum cleaner. And just one note: if you're going to clean your laptop keyboard with a vacuum cleaner, be very careful, because high power cleaners may tear the keys. After I finished with the keyboard, I moved to clean the display and the lid. I mean the whole top part. Here I used a mixture of glass cleaner and isopropyl alcohol, and I used soft cleaning cloths and soft brushes. This is a slim display, and these displays are a little bit more sensitive to clean. So cleaning must be done very softly and without pressing the edges around, or pressing the bottom side where the display electronics are. Also, the both hinges are fine and in a great condition, so the repair will be easier. The bottom case on the laptop is fine as well, and the only problem here is at the palm rest. At first, I thought that maybe the hinges were damaged or some plastic on the bottom side, but the problem here is only the palm rest. Now, using a dermal tool, I removed some broken plastics and some glue from before. Actually, somebody tried to stick the plastic before. Now, I'm going to use a very simple method to repair the case. I will use a paper clips, candle, and 2 compound epoxy glue. Now, using a candle, I heat the paper clip and out to melt the plastic. And using this clip, I connect the both sides. So in this case, the paper clip reinforces the plastic. Now, I mix the epoxy glue and I apply the glue over the paper clip and over the whole broken part around. Also, I use the glue to reinforce the plastics around the hinges and around the brass bolts. The next day, the glue is completely dry, and now I start with making some details and some small modifications. Also, this glue needs about 24 hours until it gets fully dry, but after it gets dry, it's like a stone. Now, after I finish with repairs, I move to clean the case. The palm rest, I clean it using brushes, a vacuum cleaner, isopropyl alcohol, and the parts that are without any electronics, I wash it using soap and water. And finally, the laptop is ready to be assembled. And I'm almost done at this point. Here, I didn't mount the CD ROM because the CD ROM is damaged and in a short circuit. So instead of a CD ROM, I used a disk caddy. This is just now to fill the hole from the side. And finally, the laptop is a little bit better than before. The case is in one piece, the hinges are fine, and the laptop is working normally. And this is the final result. And a few words about this laptop. This is not some old laptop. Intel i5 5th generation CPU, NVidia GPU, 8 gigs of RAM, and 240 gigs SSD are just fine for today's standards. The Windows 10 is working pretty good on this machine, and the speed of the laptop is pretty good. So in general, this laptop is good for most daily basic tasks, like working on something. It's good for Microsoft Office. I mean Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other things. It's great for web browsing as well. Also, it's good for watching some videos and movies. And 4K is playable. I mean, I can play 4K videos through HDMI cable to 4K TV. And the only downside on this laptop are the speakers. I mean, the speaker. This model has one speaker only. So listening to music is going to be a very poor experience. Playing some games on this machine is possible, but some games with a lower graphics requirements. On this laptop, I've tried to play Serious Sam 4. I used a native display resolution and low graphics settings, and the game is running pretty well. I expect a little bit more lags, especially in place when there is a lot run and gun gameplay, but the game is working just fine and okay. Well, and this is all about this Lenovo IdeaPad 100, and I'm very glad because this laptop can surf again. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope this video will give inspiration and ideas to back in function some stuff, maybe some touch or maybe something else. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.